Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool, and I've got another one of the Olight bonus videos since they have a sale going on. And one of the things that I find interesting about these small lights is I use them the most. I've got a bunch of them. I've got old ones, new ones, and I thought I'd highlight a couple of Olight's new offerings because these really make a big difference in your life. This one here, you love it. Zombie green with blood splatter. Okay, whatever. But I like that they're playing in these spaces. So what we've got is essentially a simple light. This particular one and a couple of these others I'm going to highlight are running on a AA or a AAA, battery. This is not that great a battery, as you can imagine. So what I often do is I substitute a full-on, grab it here we go, Energizer lithium, and use a real-life lithium battery in here, which then causes this thing to have an enormous shelf life as far as, you know, if you don't use it, how long it lasts, as well as great operation in the cold. That's what lithium does. So I just upgraded this. It's not an expensive light, and that's kind of interesting because look at this. Actually, I'm going to compare it to this one. This is a nice little Olight, you know, the i3E EOS. Look at that. I'm going to compare it to this other black light. This is a Surefire Titan. And this Surefire sells for about 14 times as much as this Olight. And when I turn these guys on, they both turn with a bezel that rotates. I mean, are you seeing a huge difference here? Sure, there is Surefire's made in America, but 14 times the cost. Anyway, I use lights from all sorts of different companies, but I thought I'd highlight the Keychain Olights. Now they have both the AAA version that I often substitute right away to some Energizer lithiums. The lithiums do have great shelf life, 20-year shelf life, and they work great in the cold. That's why you use them. They're not necessarily more powerful. They're just great. Anyway, and then I also use the rechargeable ones. These guys here, if you pop them open, they're USB-C rechargeable, so you could always leave your home, leave your castle, you know, with a full charge. These have a double output, as we see. There's a low output and a high output, just continuing to twist this. Solid design. The AAA battery ones have essentially one output, and that's about 80 lumens. They blast out, but you might get a 20 years of sitting still, not any interaction, and then all of a sudden, boom, there it is, ready to go to help you out. So they both have their advantages. Now the size, well, I like to look at these in terms of keys, and these are fairly small. I've got all kinds of different ones. I love these night eyes. They're Chinese made, as you can see. Little carabiner locks. I use these for all kinds of things because oftentimes I'm disconnecting it from my keychain to go out and do something else. Olight has had all kinds of different names for these. This is one of their new ones, the iXV, the I being that candle there. Earlier ones, this is pop that out, like an i1R2 Pro. Previous to that, we had the Olight i1R2 EOS. I've had this thing forever. Well, not forever, probably a few years, and it has been all beat up. It's used heavily, and that's what I'm talking about here. The Olight keychain flashlights are used by me and by many people more than any other light. And another feature of these guys, I've got a backpack here. In this backpack, like many of mine, I'm just grabbing this guy. This is a Mystery Ranch front, but I'll often throw a light and connect it to something right up at the top, which is maybe the bladder holder or something like that. But I can turn this on, and that allows me to see down into the bag. And when I can see into the bag, I can grab the things that I need. So that's actually a really cool feature, you know, to have an inexpensive light that provides that. Here's one of Olight's lights. This is the, if we look close here, the i3E. It's a solid design. It uses this little takeaway. Runs small watch batteries inside. As soon as I lift it, it turns on. I look at this as more of an emergency light. However, it does have a very strong magnet. You know, so oftentimes it is grabbing a hold of things. And that's that magnet in here that you see. That's what's doing it right there. Interesting. It does provide some great light. Now, in the past, I've used Surefire. Here's the Sidekick. I was quick to buy this when it first came out. Phenomenal amount of money. I was totally let down by this. The charging was wonky. I mean, it did work, but there's so much better stuff. The Surefire Titan here that costs 14 times as much as the, you know, the AAA Olight. Solid design, simple. You know, they have an updated version of this. But I also use these Olights in survival kits. So this is a survival kit that I've made. It's got a compass here. It's got paracord. Again, a little carabiner there. And then when I open this thing up, this Exotac Match XL, I have got an Olight inside here. Now this is an i3E EOS. So I have got a light, I've got matches, I've got fire starter. If you look at what's all in here, I've got a knife blade. This is a sharp blade here. Kevlar cord, you know, hurricane matches, all kinds of things. But that's what I went to. Because inside here, if I open this guy up, what do I have? I've got one of my Energizer lithiums. So, amazing. Anyway, so that's what's going on with Olight. They've got a sale on. These are my most used lights. Absolutely outstanding. And with that, Doc out.